Did you know that in many cultures, the devil is often depicted as a charming figure who lures people in with temptation rather than outright evil? This contrasts sharply with the traditional image of a monstrous being. When we think about the devil, we often imagine a being who's actively trying to tempt us to do bad things. We picture someone who's always lurking in the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to pounce. But the truth is, the devil is much more subtle than that. In fact, he often works through everyday situations, using our own fears, doubts, and desires against us. The problem is, we often think we're immune to his tactics because we're good people. We think that because we go to church, or because we try to live a moral life, the devil won't bother with us. But the devil doesn't discriminate. He'll take advantage of anyone who's not paying attention. That's why it's so important for us to understand how the devil truly works. In this video, we're going to explore 9 key areas where popular beliefs about the devil differ from reality. We'll look at how he manipulates us, how he tempts us, and how he tries to keep us from living the life we're meant to live. One of the biggest misconceptions about the devil is that he only works through obvious evil. We think that if we're not committing major sins, we're safe from his influence. But the truth is, the devil is a master of subtlety. He can use even the smallest, most seemingly insignificant choices against us. For example, maybe you're someone who's always stressed out and overworked. The devil might use that stress to convince you that you need a break. And that break just happens to involve doing something that doesn't align with your values. Or maybe you're someone who's always comparing yourself to others. The devil might use that comparison to make you feel like you're not good enough, and that you need to do something drastic to measure up. The point is, the devil doesn't always work through big, dramatic temptations. Sometimes he works through the small, everyday choices we make, and that's what makes him so dangerous. Another misconception about the devil is that he only targets bad people. We think that if we're living a good life, the devil won't bother with us. But the truth is, the devil can influence anyone, regardless of their moral standing. In fact, the devil often targets people who are doing good work, simply because he wants to stop them from making a difference. He might use fear, doubt, or temptation to try and distract them from their mission. Or he might use flattery and pride to make them think they're above the fray. The point is, no one is immune to the devil's influence. We all need to be on guard, regardless of our past or our present. One of the most common myths about the devil is that he's always present in dramatic moments. We think that if we're not experiencing some kind of major crisis, the devil isn't involved. But the truth is, the devil can work in the background, slowly and gradually influencing our thoughts and actions over time. For example, maybe you're someone who's been struggling with a particular sin for years. You might think that it's just a personal issue, but the devil could be using that sin to keep you from living the life you're meant to live. Or maybe you're someone who's been experiencing a series of setbacks and failures. You might think that it's just bad luck, but the devil could be using those setbacks to make you feel like you're not good enough. The point is, the devil doesn't always work in dramatic, obvious ways. Sometimes, he works behind the scenes, using our own weaknesses and fears against us. Another misconception about the devil is that temptation is always overt. We think that if we're not being tempted to do something obviously wrong, we're safe. But the truth is, temptation can be disguised as harmless choices. For example, maybe you're someone who's been tempted to spend more and more time on social media. You might think that it's harmless, but the devil could be using that temptation to distract you from more important things. Or maybe you're someone who's been tempted to take shortcuts in your work or your relationships. You might think that it's no big deal, but the devil could be using those shortcuts to undermine your integrity. The point is, temptation doesn't always come in the form of a major crisis. Sometimes, it comes in the form of small, seemingly insignificant choices. One of the most common myths about the devil is that spiritual warfare is only a thing of the past. We think that because we don't see demons and angels fighting in the streets, spiritual warfare is no longer relevant. But the truth is, Spiritual warfare continues to manifest in modern life. For example, maybe you're someone who's been experiencing strange, unexplained occurrences. You might think that it's just your imagination, but the devil could be using those occurrences to make you feel like you're losing control. Or maybe you're someone who's been experiencing a series of vivid dreams or nightmares. You might think that it's just your subconscious, but the devil could be using those dreams to try and distract you from reality. The point is, spiritual warfare is still happening today. We need to be aware of it, and we need to be prepared to fight back. Another misconception about the devil is that he only operates in extreme situations. We think that if we're not facing some kind of major crisis, the devil isn't involved. But the truth is, the devil can work through mundane distractions. For example, maybe you're someone who's been feeling stuck in a rut. You might think that it's just boredom, but the devil could be using that boredom to keep you from pursuing your goals. Or maybe you're someone who's been experiencing a series of minor setbacks. You might think that it's just bad luck, but the devil could be using those setbacks to make you feel like you're not good enough. The point is, the devil can work through even the most mundane things. We need to be on guard, even when life seems normal. One of the most common myths about the devil is that knowledge alone can protect us from his influence. We think that if we just know enough about the devil's tactics, we'll be safe. But the truth is, knowledge is only half the battle. We need to be vigilant, and we need to take action. We can't just sit back and assume that, because we know the devil's tactics, we're immune to his influence. For example, maybe you're someone who's been studying the Bible and learning about the devil's tactics. You might think that you're prepared, but the devil could still use your pride and complacency against you. Or maybe you're someone who's been praying regularly and seeking guidance. You might think that you're safe, but the devil could still use your fears and doubts against you. The point is, knowledge is important, but it's not enough. We need to be proactive in our fight against the devil. Another misconception about the devil is that community and companionship are always protective. We think that if we're surrounded by good people, we're safe from the devil's influence. But the truth is, the devil can exploit relationships. For example, maybe you're someone who's part of a tight-knit community. You might think that you're safe, but the devil could be using your relationships to make you feel like you don't measure up. Or maybe you're someone who's in a romantic relationship. You might think that you're safe, but the devil could be using your partner to tempt you or distract you from your goals. The point is, even good relationships can be used against us. We need to be aware of the devil's tactics, and we need to be proactive in our relationships. One of the most common myths about the devil is that spiritual battles are always visible. We think that if we're not experiencing some kind of major crisis, we're not in a spiritual battle. But the truth is, many spiritual battles happen internally and unnoticed. For example, maybe you're someone who's been struggling with negative thoughts or emotions. You might think that it's just your imagination, but the devil could be using those thoughts and emotions to make you feel like you're not good enough. Or maybe you're someone who's been experiencing a feeling of unease or discomfort. You might think that it's just anxiety, but the devil could be using that feeling to make you doubt yourself. The point is, spiritual battles can happen in the background, even when everything seems normal on the surface. We need to be aware of them, and we need to be prepared to fight back. So what can we do to protect ourselves from the devil's influence? First and foremost, we need to be aware of his tactics. We need to understand how he works, and we need to be on guard. We also need to be proactive in our spiritual lives. We need to pray regularly, seek guidance, and stay vigilant. And finally, we need to remember that we're not alone in this fight. We have the support of our communities, our families, and most importantly, God. So if you're someone who's been struggling with the devil's influence, know that you're not alone. And if you're someone who's been ignoring the devil's tactics, know that it's time to wake up and take action. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to check out our other video on spiritual awareness. In the comments below, share your own experiences with the devil's influence. How has he tried to manipulate your life? And how have you fought back? We'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences. Remember, awareness and action are key in protecting ourselves from the devil's subtle tactics. Stay vigilant, stay strong, and stay close to God. Stay blessed by God.
I appreciate you taking the time to watch and be here. If this video resonated with you or touched your heart, please consider supporting the channel by buying me a coffee. Simply scan the QR code or click the link in the description below. Your generosity keeps this mission alive. See you soon. God bless. If you're looking to overcome depression and anxiety by strengthening your spirituality, I invite you to check out my ebook, Soulful Transformations, Bridging Faith and Mind for Lasting Wellness, available on Kindle. This book combines cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, with biblical wisdom to help you manage stress, tackle anxiety, and find lasting peace through faith. It's not just about mental health. It's about deepening your relationship with God and transforming your life in ways that inspire others. Check the description below for the link and take the first step toward a life of spiritual and emotional wellness.